Hello, welcome back to Alopecia in Life. This is Christine. I'm grateful to have you with me as always. For this episode, I wanted to focus my thoughts and comments on the medical community and those doctors or practitioners who work with alopecians. I have been through several different therapies, both Western, Eastern, and alternative therapies in trying to resolve my condition. I've worked with a lot of different doctors who have a lot of different approaches, some that have been very beneficial and others that have been harmful and that I've had to recover from. And I offer these experiences to you in the hopes that they can bring some relevance to your own practice and bring some meaning to your work with your patients. The first thing I have to offer is to validate your patients' feelings. We are first and foremost human beings, and in most cases, we've waited several months to see you in the hopes that you'll have answers for us, and we've gone through quite a bit in our own experience of loss and grief over our hair falling out, and there's probably a lot of emotion that we bring to the table when you first open that door and you first start talking to us. It doesn't take a lot to validate someone's feelings. Simply being present and acknowledging what they're saying to you goes a long way in establishing a trusting relationship and making that person feel that they're not alone in dealing with their problem. The second suggestion I'd like to offer is to be proactive. The best doctors I've worked with are the ones who have said, I don't know exactly what the best treatment is going to be for you, but I'm going to do my best to find it, and I'm not going to stop working on your behalf until I am satisfied as your provider that I've done the best I can for you. Those doctors have rolled up their sleeves, they've done research, they've asked questions, they have spent time, and they show me in their actions that they care about my well-being as a human being and as a patient. They're proactive, and they don't stop until questions have been answered or until as much research as is possible has been done on the topic to their satisfaction and to mine as a patient. The other thing I'd like to offer is to be hopeful. The mind is a very powerful thing, and because you're in a position of authority as a doctor, you're an expert in your field, people wait for a long time to see you, and they are looking for answers. And when you say, whatever comes out of your mouth can be very suggestive and powerful, either positive or negative. And I know that you have gone into this field because you want to help people. And being hopeful and being proactive and being validating can go a very long way in helping people feel as though, again, they're not alone, that there might be an answer. And even if there isn't an answer, there is hope that they're not going to drown in this condition, in the situation that they find themselves in, where they're looking for a life draft, and anything will do. Any sort of assistance will help them feel like they can maintain some semblance of positivity in their lives. So being hopeful and focusing on the positive, whatever you can focus on that's positive, goes a long way in helping people cope with alopecia. The other thing I'd like to offer is to be a resource. One of the worst experiences I had as a patient was going to a doctor, being told to expect to lose all my hair, and being allowed to leave the office in tears. I could barely see, I was crying so hard, with no discussion about how to take care of my physical appearance, as this doctor predicted it would change based on his diagnosis. There was no discussion about wigs. There was no discussion about support groups that existed in my area where I was living at the time. There was no discussion about the National Alopecia Areata Foundation, which has existed for decades, simply for supporting alopecia and advancing the interests of alopecians. There was no discussion about that. He simply said, prepare to lose all your hair and let me leave in a state of emotional distress. And it wasn't until I simply by accident found a wig store that could fit me properly for a wig that I discovered NAF, that I figured out how to apply eyebrows and wear appropriate makeup that would make me feel normal, that I built those resources on my own over the course of several years. And it didn't have to be that way. I think it's the responsibility of doctors who are dealing with severe medical issues for people to provide resources for them so that they can take care of themselves either in the moment or in their own time when they're ready to accept and acknowledge whatever it is that's going on for them and take steps to take care of themselves and to address the problems that exist. The other thing I'd like to mention, and that I think is important for practitioners to be cognizant of, is that your words matter, and to be very careful and kind with what you say. One of the worst things a doctor said to me was, "I'm a very beautiful woman were it not for my very disfiguring disease." And this was after he had had me bare my scalp and offered nothing more than that pronouncement that I was beautiful, but not really. And so one of the best things doctors have said to me was, "I believe there's an answer, and I'm going to work my hardest to find it for you." They've also said, "You're a beautiful woman with or without hair." And because you're in positions of authority, your words matter. And just because you're a human being, kindness matters. And so being validating, being proactive, being a resource, being hopeful, and being careful with your words are 5 very important points I think are important to remember in your work with alopecians, and can go a long way in helping you establish a good working relationship with your patients, and also for your patients to feel as though there's hope and there is support for them. Please comment on what I've said. Please also follow me on YouTube. Please visit my website at alopecianlife.wordpress.com and sign up for my mailing list. I also post blogs associated with these videos. You could read additional information I have about the information I present here. And please also remember, there's a lot of life to live and a lot of love to give, even when you don't have hair. Thank you so much for joining me. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.